So hello and welcome to today's video. Even though there's a very strong debate over what era of gaming is better, one thing I think most of us can agree upon is the addition of updates nowadays. Many games are now better thanks to updates over time, especially games like Cyberpunk 2077, which released in, let's just say, a less than ideal state, and that's put it politely. But of course, updates really weren't possible over 20 years ago. Games that released back then were near enough stuck in that state forever. At best you might get a slightly different version of the game later on, but even then it was usually a very, and I do mean a very, very tiny amount of changes. But even though Rockstar managed to do the impossible and dish out both quality and quantity in the PS2 era, they were not immune to having all kinds of bugs and glitches in their games. However, quite a few of these games had game-breaking bugs which rendered the entire game unbeatable in some way. And because of the lack of updates at the time, they were never fixed. So let's go over a few of these. I'm going to start off with GTA 3 and the missing gang. So when you're playing through Grand Theft Auto 3, towards the end of the game you have a bit of a mini side story involving two in-game gangs, the Red Jacks and the Purple Nines, through an off-screen character by the name of D-Ice. Now Claude essentially helps the Red Jacks completely wipe out the entire Purple Nines gang, and once that entire story strand is done, the Purple Nines are gone from the game. After all, Claude wiped them out from existence, so it wouldn't make sense to see them around anymore. But what you might not know is, Claude has fully wiped them out of existing that much they won't ever spawn again, even in a completely brand new save. So what's game breaking about this then? Well, you might remember one of the missions from D-Ice is called Uzi Money, where Claude has to track down 20 Purple Nines and kill them. But because Claude completely eradicated them from a previous save, they're nowhere to be found anymore, rendering the entire mission and the following ones completely unbeatable from this point onwards. However, because this mission strand becomes available quite late into the game, and it also takes place in Shoreside Vale, many of you won't realise the glitch has happened until you're doing a playthrough again and reach Uzi Money. And considering how it all takes place towards the end of the game as said, and how minor of a gang they are anyway, it's very easy to forget and not even notice their complete absence until the time comes. And here's the thing, this effect carries on to every single save you make, even brand new saves. So if you're affected by this glitch, it is completely impossible to 100% GTA 3 with this glitch. And the thing is, this glitch affects every single version of GTA 3. It happens on PC, it happens on the PlayStation re-releases, and even happens on the mobile ports. Now thankfully the phone missions are optional side missions, so you can still play the entire main story as normal, but those of you going for a 100% run, yeah, you can see why it's a bit of a pain. There are a few workarounds for this bug apparently, including starting the game without the memory card and then you reinsert it, reinstalling the entire game on mobile, and of course on PC there's some mods that fix it anyway, like Silent Patch. Now while GTA 3 had a glitch that stopped the game being beatable, Vice City had arguably an even worse one, which was a full-on save corruption, which of course will set you back to the very beginning of the game. Having your saves corrupted or lost was pretty much one of the most devastating things to happen to a kid in the mid-2000s. All that hard work you put into your games are now just gone. Maybe a friend borrowed your memory card and never returned it, or maybe you turned your console off while saving. Either way, losing your save was always a bit of a nasty, unwelcome scare. There's one save point in GTA Vice City that will, for whatever reason, have the chance to completely corrupt your entire save. That place being the Cherry Popper Ice Cream Factory, at least on the original PS2 versions of Vice City. There's no indication anything's wrong with this place, it looks no different to Tommy's other businesses, but the second you save here, you've ran the risk of destroying your save. But as said, there's no indication anything's wrong either. After you save the game, it plays on like normal. Now thankfully, it's not your entire save on your memory card that's affected, it's only that one save file. So what happens with this bug then? Well, upon restarting the game, there is a chance that after getting the load successful message, your game will sit at a black screen permanently. And since Vice City on PS2 automatically loads up your newest save, it meant many could not play Vice City anymore, or at least assume they couldn't. Now one slight workaround for this was to remove the memory card at load, then reinsert it after the intro and reload your old saves from there. But of course, if trying to load up the one that was saved at Cherry Popper, it wouldn't work of course. That save was completely gone forever. But to be fair here, I can kinda see why some people would have thought their Vice City copy would have been broken. Because, you know, you're playing it, it works fine, you restart it and all of a sudden it's just stopped working. I can kind of understand that. And some even flat out erase their entire saves off their memory cards, which contain multiple save files too. This glitch undoubtedly affected many people who were probably close to completing the story, especially those who only had one save file. And because this was in the early 2000s, updates weren't possible and not everyone was online either. So a lot of people were completely and utterly unaware of the place, saving the game before they go to bed, unaware of the fact they'll be seeing the black screen of death tomorrow. Now thankfully this was fixed in all future versions of Vice City, Xbox, mobile, PC and even Definitive Edition. But even though Cherry Popper is now safe to save at, it still has a negative aura surrounding it, especially from players who got affected by the bug over 20 years ago. I guess you could say there's some save related trauma. So what actually causes this bug anyway? Sadly, it's never been known. I did try asking the developer about it on Twitter, but he couldn't remember either. My personal assumption, and this is just a 10,000% guess, is maybe the game is stuck on a saving loop after saving, unbeknownst to the player, and it's just constantly saving in the background. And since you're told to never turn the game off when saving, well, that's just my guess anyway, I'm probably wrong. So on to GTA San Andreas, and it's fair to say Rockstar were being very generous with the cheats they offered. You had near enough an entire trainer's worth of content here to enjoy and mess around with. You can modify the game world with them. However, due to the nature of many cheats, game-breaking bugs soon followed. Most notably, the infamous pedestrian's riot cheat. The second you enter that and you've saved with it enabled, you've doomed your save to all kinds of effects that will occur over various missions. Apparently in some cases it's not even the riot cheat, but using over 500 cheats. Which, to be fair here, I have no idea how somebody can use 500 cheats in San Andreas. Anyway, the most infamous one of these is the Mad Dog mission. If you do pedestrian riots, Mad Dog kills himself as soon as the mission starts. It's the most widely known one. But there are other lesser known effects to cheating, which can render other missions completely unplayable, therefore rendering the entire game unbeatable. It's said that in the mission Photo Opportunity, some players have had issues with Caesar's behaviour. He will not enter any cars, or a car might drive straight into a gas pump. In Burning Desire, after dropping Denise off at a house, she'll instead run into a nearby car, carjack it and drive off. And because the game won't do anything until Denise enters a home and you can't skip this mission, the game has soft-locked itself, and 555 WeTip will just flat out crash after CJ steals the valet guy's clothes. Now according to Vadim M, a prominent data miner, this is caused by the cheat not entirely deactivating itself upon the second entry. Some pedestrian types don't revert back to their pre-riot state, and one of these being Civ Male, which is what Mad Dog is assigned to in the mission, and same for Denise who's assigned to Civ Female. So unlike the other entries mentioned in this video, which were all from the PS2 Grand Theft Autos, the next one we'll be going over is GTA 4. And the reason I'm including GTA 4 is because its game-breaking bug wasn't really discovered until many years after the game came out, and it's all to do with GTA 4 and playing at 60 frames per second, and it's only became more well known in recent years. So when GTA 4 released, it played on PS3 and 360 at 30 frames per second, which was pretty much standard for the time. And while PC is infamous for having unlimited frame rates, GTA 4 was also infamous for its absolutely horrendous PC port, rivaling Saints Row 2 for the title of the worst PC game of all time. Even the highest end PCs really struggled to run GTA 4 effectively. Thankfully, after many patches and the fact that even entry-level PCs can run GTA 4 efficiently in the 2020s, many PCs can even play GTA 4 at 60 frames per second without any hassle now. And that's where the problem lies. In one of the finale missions out of commission, if your frame rate was 60 or over, Nico cannot climb into the helicopter, rendering the entire mission unbeatable. And because everyone's PCs are of different specs, when GTA 4 was starting to become playable at 60 FPS, it did spark some discussion on the bug. So people who were first affected by the 60 FPS bug were met with all kinds of comments saying stuff like, how the hell did you get this far into the game if you can't even hit the spacebar a few times? Or some even wondering if their keyboard might be a bit busted. Until some of the high-end PC users chimed in with the exact same issue, before people eventually worked out it must have been something to do with the frame rate. One workaround was to somehow get the game to not run at 60 FPS, and that of course can be done by either capping it through a third-party program, or by upping the settings a bit much to really stress the GPU so GTA 4 will lag a little bit, and then of course revert the settings afterwards. So that was one workaround on PC, but this is not just a PC bug, because when the Xbox Series X dropped, this bug made its way onto Xbox as well, at the exact same point. Because Rockstar and Microsoft somehow got GTA 4 running at 60 FPS on there. Now unfortunately, Xbox is not PC, so the option of capping the FPS or forcing the game to run worse by upping the settings was not possible here. The only workaround, to my knowledge, and from the research I did, which was browsing a few Reddit threads, is to absolutely hammer that A button like Sonic the Hedgehog if he was on crack. Otherwise, you're out of luck. So sticking with PC, let's talk a bit about anti-piracy. Now anti-piracy, as you know, has always been designed to keep people from playing games they never paid for, or at the very least, make it as unenjoyable and unplayable as they possibly can. GTA 4 is best known for the drunk camera and random vehicle breakdowns. Spyro 3 flat out randomises itself and erases your entire save. Serious Sam has you being chased by an invincible and fast as hell scorpion, etc, etc. So why am I mentioning anti-piracy here? Because the whole point of anti-piracy is to make the game just completely unplayable, so the pirate will just stop playing, delete it, and maybe go and buy it instead. Well, as it turns out, Rockstar screwed over a lot of people who bought Manhunt legally via Steam, because Rockstar themselves used a no CD crack when they ported the game to Steam. And because the crack they used gets detected by Rockstar's own anti-piracy, you get thrown into a completely unplayable game. And for many people, it won't even let them get past the first mission. Now Vadim M has a fantastic in-depth video on this, which is nearly an entire hour long, and I highly recommend you actually check that out to see what Rockstar did to make Manhunt completely unplayable. So I'll keep this part very brief, but essentially what it does is doors that are supposed to progress you for the level just won't open anymore. Walking into painkillers has the chance to crash the game, your keyboard input will stop working, cash will take more damage, levels become completely empty, cutscenes won't play properly, and that's just a select few. Rockstar really went above and beyond in trying to make the game just unplayable for pirates. For anti-piracy at the time, the amount of measures Rockstar stuck in is impressive. But the key word is for pirates, not people who legally bought Manhunt on PC, maybe for nostalgia's sake or for whatever reason. And data miners discovered Rockstar were using a pirate's crack when they checked the exe and found a pirate group's signature inside of it. And Rockstar have never updated Manhunt either, so these issues affect many legal buyers today. In fact, anti-piracy methods pretty much take up all the negative reviews on Steam anyway. There really aren't that many reviews that say Manhunt was crap. All the negative reviews say something along the lines of it's a great game, but there's anti-piracy methods here. And so for the finale part of the video, we're going to go straight back to Bully. There's only one game-breaking glitch that's been known to occur on one specific platform, and it renders the entire game completely unplayable. Now many of you are probably already thinking about the PC port and how crap it is, aren't you? Well, I mean, technically you're right, because Windows 10 and Windows 11 do make it unplayable, but it is fixable with Silent Patch. But in fact I'm actually talking about the Wii version of the game. So this glitch is relatively niche and thankfully doesn't occur on other versions of the game, but there is a way to completely lock yourself out from ever beating Bully properly. So during chapter 5 you're tasked with finding Johnny Vincent in an appropriately named mission named Finding Johnny Vincent, and Jimmy locates Johnny inside the local mental asylum, and Jimmy must find a way to free Johnny, and he does so by stealing an asylum orderly's outfit and causing a bit of an asylum riot. But on the Wii version of the game, once you acquire the orderly costume you have a small window where your save file is at risk. If you get knocked out or busted at any point after picking up the outfit, but you haven't beaten the mission, you have forever ruined the mission. Because upon re-entering the asylum, instead of being tasked to find Johnny, the screen quickly turns black, and Jimmy turns into the orderly, and then the game lets you play as this orderly, and the mission kind of bugs out because it stays like this, and then a crash occurs shortly after. Now this glitch is that rare ever since Bully's release in 2006, only 2 clips of it surfaced prior to the known triggers for it, one in 2008 and one in 2012, and it wasn't until 2023 that the causes for the glitch became known. So the cause for the glitch is actually to do with how the game stores items. The Asylum Orderly uniform as an item and the Asylum Orderly outfit as an item of clothing are 2 separate items. When you pick up the uniform in the mission, the game adds it to Jimmy's inventory, and should you fail the mission for whatever reason, the game should, and it does on other platforms, removes it from your inventory. The Wii version doesn't. In fact, the Wii version has a bug where they accidentally remove one of the radio transistors you need for the hobo instead, essentially meaning if you haven't done all of his fighting moves it could lock you out of 100% completion. But given this glitch stops you from beating Finding Johnny Vincent, you don't have to worry about that I guess. Another thing that happens is the game is constantly checking for the Asylum Orderly outfit item. If you have it, the game skips to the part where you break Johnny out. Now it does that by deleting the orderly in the control room and respawns him as an orderly that Jimmy can talk to. But when you enter the asylum, the orderlies from Block B aren't spawned in, so the game freaks out. It knows you have the outfit, but the orderly it needs to delete doesn't exist, so it defaults to deleting default ped, who just so happens to be Jimmy. And then it respawns Jimmy as this orderly that Jimmy needs to talk to. And as such, this glitch can occur if you use mods on PC or Android and replay the mission via a mod like say Supermod once you've beaten this mission. Now this glitch is extremely niche. It's probably the most niche one on this video, because by the time you free Johnny, you don't have to fight anybody. You can just make a beeline for the main foyer, and there's no more enemies left anymore. And this will only ruin your save file if you dare save, so if you somehow got this glitch and restarted without saving, you'll be fine. If you did save however, well, you got yourself another purple 9s kind of ordeal. But instead of being locked out of 100% completion, you're locked out of her beating the story. So your only options are to restart the game or reload an older save. But as I said, this is the most niche one in this video, and it probably affected a very, very tiny amount of people and was nowhere near as widespread as the Mad Dog glitch from GTA San Andreas. But yeah, those are just a select few of Rockstar's game-breaking glitches that definitely ruined a lot of people's day. I hope this video didn't, maybe it did, but either way, thank you for watching and have a great day.